post.
Command post under enemy control.
I want those rebels dead.
Incoming explosive.
Keep
Take
going,
cover.
keep going.
Rebel, take him out.
One shot, one kill. Send in the troopers.
Hostiles have acquired
coming
command
around.
post.
Just like the simulation. That's another command post under Republic control. The command post has been lost, but not the battle. For the Republic!
You're watching a Syndicate program.
A new wave of Black Series reveals leaving collectors divided on their opinions, and a new vintage collection fan poll taking the stage. This and more this week on the After Action Figure Report. Hello there, welcome back to the After Action Figure Report, your one-stop shop for Star Wars toy and product news. I'm your host Blitz. We have a bit of a lighter week this week with some reveals, some leaks, and of course our main story covering a new vintage collection fan poll taking center stage. We're gonna kick things off with news for Hasbro's The Black Series line, Hasbro's 6-inch action figure line, starting off with a new wave of reveals. Earlier in the week, Brandon from the Hasbro Star Wars team did share a tease on his Instagram story that there would be some new reveals for the Black Series this week, and throughout the next couple of days, those reveals were shown. The Black Series got a total of 4 new reveals this week, all being from the Star Wars animated series droids. The first of the 4 reveals being one of the main characters from the series, R2-D2. His coloration, of course, being closer to what we see in the animated show than what we would be familiar with in live action. And of course, I want to point out the packaging on R2 and the rest of the reveals from this wave are going to be largely inspired by the original card backs and packaging from Kenner for the original Star Wars droids line back in the day. R2-D2 includes all of his usual accessories that many of the new astromech droids feature in the Black Series these days, and also features a commemorative coin, as will the rest of the figures in this wave. R2-D2 and the rest of the figures will each retail for $27.99 and are currently available at fan channel retailers, to include Hasbro Pulse and Big Bad Toy Store. Of course, if we're getting R2-D2, you're going to need his partner in crime, that being C-3PO. C-3PO also coming in a much more matte look than we're used to, however, his coloration again being much more accurate to what we see in the animated show. C-3PO doesn't have any accessories, which is pretty typical for protocol droids in the Black Series, and of course also features the commemorative coin. The very next day after our heroes of the Star Wars Droids series were revealed, we got 2 villains from the show, one of them being a repacked figure, Boba Fett. Now, the reveal and solicitations for Boba Fett left a lot of fans scratching their heads for a couple of different reasons. For one reason, a lot of fans were hoping that this version of Boba Fett would have been updated to be on the recent deluxe Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, and while the costumes are not completely identical from this, which is based on the Empire Strikes Back look, to what we end up seeing in Return of the Jedi, a lot of fans were still hoping that Hasbro would go the extra mile, maybe include a couple of new overlays, and give us a newer sculpt for this figure. For reference, this Boba Fett sculpt for the Black Series from the Empire Strikes Back is over 10 years old at this point in time, so a lot of fans were really hoping that we would get an updated sculpt for this character. Much of this sculpt is not just outdated in looks with the pinned double joints at the legs, but also features very limited articulation, particularly at the elbows, which can barely achieve a 90-degree bend. When this figure came out, this kind of articulation may have been typical and commonplace, but in 2026, the Black Series has excelled far and beyond, and I feel like this figure is very out of place to be revealed in 2026. In addition to the frustration over the dated sculpt, Hasbro did also leave a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths by again photoshopping the pins out of the pinned double joints of the knees of this figure. This is an issue that fans have brought up time and time again. In recent years, we've noticed Hasbro has made a bad habit out of photoshopping those pins out of the legs. While this is a typical thing that action figure photographers do for the sake sake of making the figure look more realistic, this is not something that official solicitations from a company should be doing for a product reveal. All said and done, Boba Fett just includes his blaster and of course a commemorative coin. And our fourth and final member of this wave is going to be a Stormtrooper, almost identical to many of the Stormtroopers we've seen in the Black Series, this trooper being on the 2020 Stormtrooper sculpt, which is in my opinion one of the most solid figure sculpts in the entire line. The Stormtrooper does feature a little bit of gray paint applications around the visors of the helmet, and this is, as you can see, I guess accurate to a specific shot of a Stormtrooper who is holding a staff in the show, and you can also see that the staff that they went with for the accessory is the same one that came with the Moff Gideon Dark Trooper armor released in 2025. Aside from that, the Stormtrooper does include the E11 blaster rifle, which is a nice inclusion considering this particular card back doesn't show this trooper with one, and of course he also comes with his commemorative coin. As I'd mentioned before, all 4 of these figures are currently available for pre-order on fan channel sites, again, such as Hasbro Pulse and Big Bad Toy Store. Aside from official reveals, there have been some leaks coming out for upcoming Black Series product, and I just want to give a disclaimer before we get into each of these. I will cover them all briefly. I will not be showing the leaked images. I will be crediting those pages that first posted them on their respective platforms, and if you would like to see the images for yourselves, you can either check them out on the respective pages that I have credited, or you can check them out as they have been posted in the Blitz Transmissions Discord. Link to the Discord is in the description below. The first of these leaks came out about a week ago, and it was images for a Jango Fett Premium Roleplay helmet. This, I would imagine, will be between $100 and $120, as that is the typical range of price for Black Series Premium electronic helmets, and I would imagine would feature a lot of the same details that many of the previous Boba Fett helmets have had. It does surprise me that Hasbro is releasing a Jango Fett helmet in such close proximity to the recently revealed Disney Parks Jango Fett helmet, which in my opinion looks to have a much better metallic detail to it. However, if you're a big fan of the Black Series helmets, and the Boba Fett helmet is one of their best in my opinion, I would say this is one worth picking up. More details to come. Credit to 5017 Set on X for spreading the word on this one. Moving on to another leak here. This one's a little bit interesting. This one comes from RoboRoboSG on Instagram, a page in Singapore for a local shop down there, and in that image, which features a bunch of product they have just released at their shop, you can actually see a Black Series multi-pack for Jedi Temple guards. From the solicitations on the packaging and the way the art style is designed, it appears to be a Galaxy's Edge release, so fans in the US be ready for that to be exclusive to DisneyStore.com, and in addition to that, hopefully it is going to include the different version of the Jedi Temple Guard, which appears to be the Grand Inquisitor that we see in Kanan's vision from Star Wars Rebels. And our third and final leaked pack here is a multi-pack from the Gaming Greats subline. I would imagine, judging from recent history, this will end up being an Amazon exclusive. This pack is from Star Wars Battlefront 2015 and features the Scarif Stormtrooper and the Magma Stormtrooper. The Magma Stormtrooper is a great design that is very iconic to the Battlefront 2015 video game, and I'm very excited to see it finally making its way into the Black Series. And while labeled the Scarif Stormtrooper, this figure also has me pretty excited because from the images that we've seen, this figure appears to be another new character, the Shore Trooper Captain. The Shore Trooper Captain is one of the only missing Shore Trooper designs in the Black Series right now, and so it's really exciting to see it finally released in this line. Again, if you guys would like to see the images of all of these as they are not official, either check out the respective pages that I have linked on each of the images you just saw, or you could check them out in the Blitz Transmissions Discord. Again, link in the description below. In our final bit of Black Series news, an intercepted transmission from the Prophet Yakface. Yakface has intercepted a transmission of an upcoming Clone Wars Clone Trooper build-up pack. Now this has me excited for no particular reason at all, but according to Yakface, this pack is allegedly going to be retailing for about $50 in the US and is going to feature multiple swappable head options as well as multiple different helmet options. I'm assuming this pack will also feature some different accessories, and I will say this one has me pretty excited. Typically with the Black Series, I am a one and done even when it comes to troop builders. My version of troop building in the Black Series is buying different releases of a figure as opposed to buying multiple of the same release, but I might have to break that rule when it comes to this build-up pack. If this intercepted transmission rings true, I will be super excited to share the news as the story develops here on the After Action Figure Report. Moving on to Hasbro's super articulated 3 3/4 inch line, the Vintage Collection, I have a little plug before we get into into our main story here. My friends over at SWTVC have been granted a really awesome opportunity to have an exclusive reveal for the Vintage Collection line. As of the release of the After Action figure report, this will be happening today, so make sure that you head over to the SWTVC YouTube channel on Saturday, June 6th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. My friends over at SWTVC will be joined by Chris and Brandon from the Star Wars team, and of course, as part of the SWTVC live show, they will be getting an exclusive reveal for the Vintage Collection line. Please make sure you head over there and show them some love. Those guys have been working hard in the paint since 2020. TVC March Madness is arguably the biggest and most recognizable event in the Hasbro Star Wars action figure community, and those guys have been such awesome friends and mentors to me over the course of the last year, and I can't urge you guys enough to make sure to go over there and show them some support. Congratulations to the SWTVC team. I can't think of many other people that would be more deserving of such an awesome opportunity as you guys. And finally, staying with the Vintage Collection, we're going to get into our main story with the launch of a new fan poll, which also releases today, that being TVC Galactic Conquest. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due. I have to give a shout out to MuffinMan27 on Instagram, first proposing this fan poll to me and helping to do a lot of the legwork to make this happen. So make sure to go over to Instagram and give MuffinMan27 a follow, because he is one of the brainchildren behind this project. TVC Galactic Conquest is very different from the other two major fan polls in the TVC community, those being, of course, as I mentioned, TVC March Madness and also Last Figure Standing. TVC Galactic Conquest is focusing much more on characters that already have existing tooling, such as troopers and military commanders of the different Star Wars factions. Whether it be the Galactic Republic, the Confederacy of Independent Systems, the Sith Empire, the Old Republic, or the First Order. Many of the different military factions across the Star Wars timeline have lots of unique trooper and commander designs that fans have been pining for, and in cases of the troopers especially, fans want lots of these for their displays. TVC Galactic Conquest seeks to gather actionable data that Hasbro's Star Wars team can use to their benefit in making more educated choices based on fan voting and polling on what characters could be made into the next Army Builder 4-packs or commander and officer releases to coincide with. Linked in the description below is the Google form for Galactic Conquest that fans can access right now and submit their 25 most wanted Star Wars military members and officers. A good rule of thumb for this tournament is that if they're wearing a uniform and they are affiliated with a faction in Star Wars, then they are fair game. Some good examples of characters that would be great for this would be unique clone troopers or clone trooper legions, Imperial officers, Sith warriors, Mandalorians, and more. After the submission phase for TVC Galactic Conquest concludes, a brief time will be taken for us to gather all of the data and come down to a final list of the 32 most wanted characters, which will then battle head to head and figure out who is most wanted in the galaxy. If you'd like to find links to the rules or to the Google form, you can find it on the description of this video, as well as any of the Blitz Transmissions social media, to include the Blitz Transmissions Discord. I want to give a special thank you to all of the TVC creators that have helped plug this. Particularly, I want to give a thank you to my friends over at SWTVC, as well as my friend Darth Xander, who runs the Vintage Collective Discord. People like these guys have been awesome at helping to organize and get the word out on this event, and I can't thank them enough. So if you're like me and you're a massive cloner, or you're a fan of the Galactic Empire, or you just want some more Star Wars military officers in your collection, make sure to check out and submit your top 25 most wanted for the TVC Galactic Conquest. There also exists a link to a template where you can share images of your top 25 most wanted. That can also be found linked in the description below. But with that, that's all we're going to have for you this week on the After Action Figure Report. As always, a big thank you to our sponsors, those being CARBONITES, Cube Squadron, PlasticNews.com, and Toy Hunter. Links to all our sponsors can be found in the description below, as well as links to my fellow members of the Syndicate, those being Sarlacc Digest and Shadownose Network. If you're a fan of IPs and pop culture other than Star Wars, make sure to check out the Shadownose Network, with shows like their Toy Box Chronicles every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, their Good Morning Toy Box show every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and their Pixels Plastic Inc. show every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're a fan of Star Wars live shows and want to get more into the theory crafting and lore side of things, make sure to check out my friends at the Sarlacc Digest, their flagship show every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you'd like to hear more of my in-depth thoughts and interact with us directly as far as Star Wars toy news goes, you could check out the Sarlacc Digest Toy Chest, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday. But that's all we've got for you this week on the After Action Figure Report. This is Blitz, signing off. And as always, may the Force be with you.
Breaking off. All units, fire at will. 1-2, pick your target. Too many, Captain. Watch your stabilizer, Gold 6. Anybody cover me. I got 2 vultures on my tail. You've got to hold them here. Watch your left. I can't shake them. I'm here.